Um, these are one of those conversations that need to be had. I think men should stop. Young men. Let me be specific. I think young men who are on their purpose and on their grind, and who have not achieved a certain level of success, should stop spending their time in the club and partying, and not even necessarily just the club. Just the nightlife, drinking and turning up, and you know, doing that often. It doesn't benefit you. You know, um, I'm 30 years old now, but when I was younger, in my earlier 20s, 19, 20 to about 23, 24, even 25, I'd say, I partied a lot, man. Drank a lot of alcohol. I didn't really smoke that much, not much of a smoker, but at the time I did drink a lot, and I was always partying every weekend, and not just once a week, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, because I'm from Atlanta. We live in Atlanta, man. I said we, like there's nobody here. Well, Lil Swain is here, so shit, we do. We live in Atlanta. Lil Swain, say what's up. But yeah, Atlanta's a turn up city, man. It's just always something to do. Every night of the week, you can find a turn up in Atlanta, and I definitely took advantage of that. And it wasn't until I got older, until I turned about 27, that I realized, and I kind of had an epiphany. That's when I really stopped going to the club. A lot of my friends would be like, why you don't want to turn up anymore, bro? You're getting old. It's not that I'm getting old. I just realized that this lifestyle does not benefit what I'm trying to do. So when I turned about 27, I realized that, the club is for women. Literally, the nightlife and drinking alcohol and partying and all of that shit is for women. It's not for men. It doesn't benefit a man who's on his purpose and on his journey to edify and become better, right? It's just too much of an expense. The reason women can party so much and turn up a lot is because, for one, it's not at their expense in a lot of the cases, especially if she's a pretty woman, right? And if she's an attractive woman, and she's able to go out and get into the club for free, and a lot of times guys will pay her way. And how often, and you don't even really got to be attractive in certain events, in certain venues, because certain venues just allow women in the club for free all night. They get in free, they go in there. Some guys want to buy them a drink. It's not that way for us though, we got to pay our way to get in. You got to put gas in your car, get an outfit, you know what I'm saying? Pay for parking. Then you get in there, it's a girl you're interested in, you pay for her drink. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a much more of an expense to us than it is to them, right? And, when women are young, like 21, 22, 20, maybe even up to 25, right? And they're not married, they're seeking a certain caliber of guy, and they can seek the highest caliber of guy if they are attractive, because they are in the prime of their beauty. Which is why going to the club will benefit her more than it will, and being out in those type of settings will benefit her more than it will benefit a man, because she's going to have the opportunity to run into a guy who's maybe a club owner, maybe some type of businessman or something like that, because these are the guys who are able to buy sections, week in and week out, who actually can afford it, right? Maybe they've built their life to be what it is. They're somebody of prominence. They have a solidified social status and social groups and shit like that. And, they're just, at that level in life, right? And these women are in the club searching for these type of men. But here's where the benefit comes. If she were to meet a guy who's at this level, optimal level, and who's able to be financially stable and secured, and he takes an interest in her, and then he marries her and gives her children, or she gives him children, and he takes care of her, and she doesn't have to do anything. She essentially became successful in life off of her beauty alone. Men, we can't do that. I've never seen a guy get in a club for free because he was attractive, or he had a good jawline, or he had a nice physique, or a dope beard or something. Doesn't matter. The only guys who get in the club for free are guys who actually have something to offer. you're a DJ, you're already a club owner, you know the club owner, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you are throwing the event, you're a promoter, you're something. You have to add value. You don't just come into the door because you are handsome, right? You must bring something. And if you are a guy who's in this phase trying to get to that level to be optimal, do you think you're really going to get there if you're in the club every weekend, spending money, spending your time, late nights, early mornings, because I'm sure you got a job or you got to go to school or something like that, and you're not optimizing your life, which is why a lot of times you don't really see a lot of fit men who party often, because those two lifestyles don't coincide. Honestly, if you go to the club and you look around and you just scan the room, there's not going to be a lot of men in there who are fit. You may find one or two guys, but most of the men in there are out of shape, got a little gut, not, because they don't prioritize their fitness, because what they prioritize is partying and drinking. And the only thing you're doing in the club is spending your money and fucking up your testosterone, bro. Because the more alcohol you consume, the harsher effects it's going to have on your test levels. And I'm going to tell you, man, testosterone is basically the main chemical in us that gives us our masculinity. So why would you want to waste your youth destroying it? Where your testosterone is the highest it will be, right? You want to fuck with it? You want to destroy it? Now, I'm not saying don't turn up and have a good time and drink every now and then, because you got to have resistance, but you also got to have guilty pleasures. Guilty pleasures are a thing. We're never going to live life and not do things that don't have a negative effect on us, right? But it's all about, doing it in moderation. That's how you have longevity and preserve your optimal, levels as a man, right? That's what the game's about. So I'm not saying don't have a good time, but when you're doing this night in, night out, week in and week out, and just over and over and over again, what do you think is going to happen? It's like once you become a man who's on your purpose and on your grind and you want to be successful, you soon realize that lifestyle doesn't benefit you. It really doesn't benefit women for long either, because, you see a lot of women, and this is what happens. Women spend their glory years, their years from like 19 to 26, 27, when they're the most beautiful they'll be, partying and drinking, right? And turning up and doing hookah and, late nights. And then they turn 30 and they look like shit and they're overweight and they may have a kid by then, but now they can't optimize and play the field the way they once could, because their beauty is starting to hit that point where they're hitting the wall and it's dropping off. There's on the decline, right? And that's a lot of times when those women who curved you in the club start to want you. The guys in the middle who are standing in the middle of the dance floor, who don't have enough money to get the sections and the bottles, right? Or getting curved by these 9s and 10s. See, yeah, you can go to the club and you can meet a chick and could probably fuck her, but are you really going to go in there and meet the chick that you want, right? You might go in there and meet a 6 or a 5 or a 4. She's like you. She had to stand in line, pay to get in the fucking club. Nobody's buying her a drink. She's standing by the bar by her fucking self, and she make googly eyes with you. You horny, she horny. You drunk, you fuck her, right? You fuck the 6. Whoop, okay, good fucking job. Who gives a shit? But the woman you really want is that 9 or 10, right? And it's the woman who you were looking at when you walked in the door and you tried to pull her wrist and she curved you because you're standing in the fucking middle of the dance floor. But the guy she wants is in the section. See, a lot of times, these women will spend their years chasing these men, and these men don't want anything but to fuck them, right? And they begin to be passed around by a certain group of men. You don't even know, because these men aren't in your circle. These are higher value men who are not in your circle. And guys in different tax brackets hang out with guys within their tax bracket. It's not too often that a guy making $40,000 is hanging out with a guy that makes $600,000 a year. Y'all just aren't on the same wave. Y'all can't do the same thing. Y'all can't even enjoy life the same because your money isn't the same, right? So you don't know the guys that she's fucking partying with and having a good time with because they're not in your circle. And what happens is these women spend their glory years doing that. And if they don't land a husband, or if they don't land a guy who decides to marry them and take them on and take care of them in life, they usually get their glory years used up. Now they're overweight and have a kid or two, and now that's when she wants you. That's why I say, you want to spend your younger years optimizing and becoming a better version of yourself as a man, not in the club partying, because your time's going to come, right? And, we have at least a 10-year gap on women as far as being able to still optimize our prime in life, right? You could be a guy that's broke as hell at 30 years old, or a guy that's broke as hell at 35 years old, but your life can completely change at 46, right? You got 10 more years. You turn 46 years old, you've been in the gym, you're handsome, you're in shape, you got money. You don't think you could still go fuck a 28 or 30-year-old chick? Even younger if you wanted to, but I don't really like dating women under 25 because I feel like they haven't really experienced enough in life, right? Under 25, everything is given to them just because they're beautiful. But, you know, it's better when they get a little older, a little seasoned, they've been through a little bit. Now you can have a good conversation with them. But women who are just in the prime of their beauty, like 20, 21, 22, they're usually assholes on their high horse, and they think the world revolves around them, because in a sense it does, because she's granted so much because she's beautiful. It's better to start talking to them once their beauty starts to tailor off a little bit and they realize reality to a certain extent, right? Because a woman still looks good as fuck at 26, 27, right? So, you know, why not spend your time becoming an optimal male, and then you can enjoy the club scene? Because I think the club scene is for women and guys who got their shit together. If you are a guy who's trying to get your shit together and reach a certain level, the club is not going to benefit you. It's not going to do nothing but take away from you. The nightlife, partying, drinking, I consider all that the club. But, you know, going to bar, you know, for guys who are really that literal, even if you're a guy that goes to a bar every weekend and you're drinking every weekend and you're up late at night all the time, it's not going to have a positive effect on you. And what's going to happen is you're not only going to lose once in life, you're going to lose twice. You're going to lose in the earlier years of your life when most men do lose, because we just have not had enough time put in to become optimal. But imagine being a loser in your 20s and 30s, and then because you spent those years not doing shit, now you're a loser in your 40s and 50s as well, because you didn't put in the work to set yourself up for your later years. See what I'm saying? You screw yourself. And, you know, I just think it's a silly fucking lifestyle, man, to be partying. And that's what society wants us to think, that we're supposed to spend our 20s, right, partying and turning up. Those are like your most precious years. Why would you waste your most precious years doing shit that's going to only harm you, right? Still have an experience. If you, for my guys who are in your early 20s, you're in college, right? I'm definitely not saying don't go to parties, have a good time. But would I do that shit often? And I would, no, I absolutely would not. And yes, I would get the experience, because I believe that you need to experience all facets of life in every level, right? Because that's what helps you with your maturation process. But would I do that shit forever? And in all of my 20s, all the way into my mid 30s? Absolutely fucking not. It's going to have to come to a point where you're like, okay, this shit isn't benefiting me. And I told you, just go to the club and look around. How many fit guys are you really going to see in that lifestyle, in that arena? You may see a guy who's stepping out of his regular routine life to go do some cool shit and party. Might see a physique fit guy in that element like that, but you're not going to often see in shape men in the club, because the priority levels of these men are different. You got one guy who prioritizes waking up, getting shit done, and actually making shit happen. But then you got another guy who doesn't give a fuck, right? He's just partying. He's having a good time. He's turning up. You know, he's literally living his life like a female. Women can do that because they are not required to provide, you know, tangibles and resources in order to be successful in life. They just have to be attractive and they can still be successful. But as a man, you can't do that. That's why it's not guys are in free until 12 or guys in free all night, because nobody gives a fuck about a handsome man if you're broke. Handsome is the cherry on top when you got your shit together, right? It's cool. Of course, you want to be handsome, you want to be in shape, but you also want to have your finances, your mental, and your mindset right. That's when you're the optimal man. A woman can be optimal and just be pretty and will still have a way more fucking successful life than you will. She can get OnlyFans. She's going to get sugar daddies. She can find some older guy with a lot of money to marry her and sponsor her lifestyle. You cannot do that. Which is why I say the club and partying and all that shit is for women, right? That's like the epiphany that I had. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we doing this? It's really silly, man. So, you know, that's just what was on my mind. You know, I wanted to drop that video. I would love to know what you guys think. You know, drop a comment in the comment section. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, man. Till next time. Peace.